Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I just want to sit down and chat with you guys about something for a little while. I'm going to throw on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing and see if I can level my crafting skills up a little bit, work on some crafting, and talk to you guys. All right, I always see something that happens a lot in this community. This could be applied to literally anything on earth, any endeavor, or anything that you work at, whether it's your job or a hobby or something you do for fun. It doesn't matter what it is. This could be applied to anything. But we're going to apply it to fitness and either, some sort of physique goal or athletic performance goal or strength goal. And I'm going to point out, if you continually compare yourself to other people, you're never going to be happy with your results. You're always going to be unhappy, and that's going to defeat the purpose of even working out and trying to get into shape. Because fitness is about improving your quality of life. With quality of life should come happiness and joy, sense of fulfillment, sense of accomplishment. Someone who doesn't feel accomplished has a lower self-esteem, and that hurts their mental health. And they don't live as long, by the way. So, just throwing that out there, people who don't have any sense of accomplishment live shorter lives, and they live less happy lives. So, comparing yourself to others all the time is a bad idea. Now, you want proof? Everyone on earth, on some level, intrinsically knows that people comparing themselves to others makes them unhappy and makes them feel less successful. And I'll give you the absolute proof. All of you guys who work out, how often does someone who hasn't achieved what you have, who has less muscle than you or is weaker than you, maybe doesn't even work out, when they meet you and it's another guy, how often has this happened that they let you know that they know someone who bench presses more than you? That they know someone who's stronger than you? How often does that happen? Pretty regularly if you're around other guys. It happens all the time. It's really, really common, in fact. Something I have noticed for many, many, many years. I mean, I'm talking at one time, I was benching 405. And chatting with guys who'd asked me that, and I told them the truth. And it's always, oh yeah, well that's not shit. They know somebody, their cousin, their uncle. Why do people do this? Because they know that it'll get to you. They know that the moment you compare yourself to someone else at anything that you work hard at who's done better than you, you're going to feel worse about yourself. They're doing that to make you feel bad about yourself. Because they know that inherently, anytime someone who works at anything stops and starts comparing themselves to others all the time who've achieved more, they feel less accomplished. It's a way to insult you and to make you feel bad about yourself. And you'll see it on the internet a lot. Anytime you're like a YouTube personality in the lifting world at all, and I get it all the time, so-and-so stronger than you. And you just kind of got to look at them sometimes and go, so fucking what? Who gives a fuck? Why does it matter? I'm on my journey. They're on theirs. I'm not competing anymore. And that's the way you've got to look at it. If you don't compete in anything, that's the best attitude you can have back at that. Do you know why? Because the only person you're competing with is yourself. Only person you're competing with is yourself if you're not in a competitive environment. I'm going to get to that in a minute too. Understanding what a modern competitive environment is. Modern competitive environment is about dying to win. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not a serious competitor. That's just reality. You don't have the mindset of one. So, different thing that we'll talk about that a little more later. But you're on this journey for yourself. If you're doing this to improve yourself and to make yourself better and to be happier and more fulfilled, and if you're not doing this to be happier and more fulfilled in some way, I don't know what in the hell you're doing. You're wasting your time. You need to go find something else to do with your time. If you're in the gym or training or living a fitness lifestyle for any reason other than to feel better and improve the way that you feel, either physically, emotionally, confidence, your health, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. It's stupid. You need to find a different fitness lifestyle than what you're involved in. It's hurting you. You're not going to be happy until you realize that you're only competing with yourself. Because there will always be somebody better than you at what you're trying to do. And it's not even a thing of inspiration. If you need them to inspire you, seriously, guys, you don't need to be weak like that. Inspire yourself. You need somebody else to inspire you. Well, what if they got there through drugs that you're not willing to take? What if they were just genetically gifted through sheer luck? That's like being inspired by someone who won the lottery. That's literally being inspired because someone has great genetics is like being inspired because they won the lottery. Or being inspired because a meteor fell from the sky randomly and hit them instead of the house next door. That's all that is. That's pure luck. That's nothing else. Were you inspired by luck? That's a little weird. Just saying. Or again, a willingness to use copious amount of drugs that you're not willing to use? Come on. You would just use the drug. If you were inspired by them, you would go get on their drug stack. No questions asked. So, you don't need other people to inspire you. And when you realize that if you're doing this for self-improvement, you know who you're competing against? The person you were yesterday. What you were doing last week. How about last month? About 6 months ago. And you look back a year back and say, man, I've improved so much in the last year. I've made progress. And if you're doing that, then you're winning. You should be happy. If you are moving forward and making progress, and that's your goal is still to improve yourself, sometimes it can just be about maintaining what you've achieved. Because at a certain point, you're happy with where you are, and you're doing it just for fitness and because you enjoy lifting. And that's a whole nother level of fitness right there. That's almost its own topic of kind of reaching the point to where you're happy, you're fit, and you just enjoy working out. And it's just part of your lifestyle that it becomes no stress because there is no competition even with yourself. You're doing it because you like it. It makes you happy. Improves your health. Whole nother topic. But if you've improved, then you should feel a sense of accomplishment. You shouldn't say, but someone else has done better. Well, who cares? They're not you. That's like saying when you go make more money, you've either started your own business or you got a massive raise at work, you're making more money. You've been rewarded for your hard work financially to look over at Donald Trump or Bill Gates. Well, yeah, if you do that, you're going to feel pretty shitty about your $3 an hour raise. You're going to feel pretty shitty that you started a business where you're barely making $100,000 a year. If you compare yourself to the ultra wealthy, the lucky, the gifted, sheer luck oftentimes. No, you compare to where you were. Your sense of accomplishment should come from where you started and where you've gotten. And particularly, when you can see that progress. When you know that you've done better, you should feel a sense of accomplishment. As long as you know that you're moving forward towards your goal consistently, that should make you happy. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else. Now, competitive environment's a different story. Competitive environment is to win. And why is that? Because sports have always had that attitude. What was the reason we started sports? What did all original sports start for? To train you for war. War, you win or you die. Winning isn't the only thing, it's everything. That mentality has always been in sports and it has stayed for thousands of years now in competitive sports. Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Because it's preparing you for war, it's preparing you for a win or die scenario, and that is carried over into sports that no longer prepare you for war. And I do occasionally laugh and guys act like, oh, but my training is, I am prepared for war, I'm going to battle. I'm like, man, you don't even own any guns. You don't even shoot 2 or 3 times a week. You're not preparing for war. All modern soldiers are proficient with firearms. You don't own an AR, a SCAR, an AK, or anything. You're not preparing for war. That's the difference. So it's kind of funny when they act that way, because even the older sports, there was a lot of wrestling, javelin throwing, archery. Why? They were preparing them for combat. That's what sports were. You can't take the modern stuff over today. People get funny with that. The battle ropes. It's like, it's just an exercise, guys. You need to chill out. But that mentality in sports and in competition comes from that, because originally it was training for combat. Competitive sports was to make you a warrior. It was to make better warriors. And it was win or die. In fact, one of the biggest sports for a long time was the gladiator rings. You won or you died. It was a fight to the death. So that mentality has always been in sports, and it will always be with sports, because that tradition has never died. You're never going to take that back out of actual sports at the serious competitive level, because it was originally for warriors, and it was win or die. That was the mentality they needed, and so it carried over. And even though today it has nothing to do with training for combat or war or anything anymore, we have militaries for that. It's not, we don't need sports for that. You have trained military to do that, and we have separate athletes. Modern world. But that mentality stays. And so the thing I would point out, if you're taking the mentality of a competitive athlete or a serious competitor, and you're not going to get something out of it, you need to understand that you are shortening your life. You will hurt yourself. You will injure yourself. You will probably die much, much younger by taking that mentality, because it's an all or nothing approach. And so for people who are just doing fitness, who aren't going to seriously compete in something or get something out of their competition besides, a plastic trophy, may not be the healthiest approach to take it, but you need to understand the difference. That's not a fitness goal. That's a competitive goal in a competitive environment with winners and losers and rankings and medals and awards. That is an intentional environment where the whole purpose is to compare yourself to everyone else. But if you're not competing in anything, you don't want to take that mentality. It is the path of self-destruction. Totally different animal. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.